In the darkness, 2,000 feet below the surface of the Pacific Ocean, something moves. It is massive beyond comprehension, drifting through the black water like a phantom ship. Eyes the size of dinner plates catch fragments of bioluminescent light, glowing briefly before vanishing back into the void. For centuries, sailors whispered stories of monsters lurking in the deep, creatures powerful enough to drag entire ships beneath the waves. They called it the Kraken. They weren't entirely wrong. This is the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, one of the most elusive and mysterious creatures on Earth. An animal so rarely seen that for most of human history, it existed only in legend. A predator that can grow to 43 feet in length, equipped with arms lined with razor-sharp suckers and a beak powerful enough to slice through steel cable. A creature that lives in perpetual darkness, hunting in a realm where the pressure would crush a human being in seconds and the cold would freeze the blood in your veins. And yet, despite hundreds of years of searching, despite all our technology and deep-sea submarines, we have only just begun to understand this enigmatic leviathan of the abyss. The question that has haunted scientists for generations is simple. Why does this creature exist at all? What evolutionary forces shaped an invertebrate, a relative of the garden snail, into a carnivorous giant capable of battling sperm whales in the crushing darkness of the midnight zone? To answer that, we must travel back in time, hundreds of millions of years, to when the ancient oceans were ruled by creatures far stranger than anything alive today. The story of the giant squid begins approximately 500 million years ago, in an ocean utterly unlike the one we know. The planet was warmer, the seas shallower, and life was exploding in diversity during what scientists call the Cambrian explosion. Among the countless new life forms emerging in these primordial waters were the earliest ancestors of cephalopods, the group that includes squids, octopuses, cuttlefish, and the ancient nautiloids. These primitive creatures possessed simple shells and basic tentacles, scavenging and hunting in the shallow waters near ancient coastlines. Over the next 200 million years, cephalopods evolved into some of the ocean's most formidable predators. Some grew enormous, straight-shelled nautiloids, reaching lengths of over 30 feet, cruising through Ordovician seas like living battering rams. Others developed more complex behaviors, better vision, faster jet propulsion. By the time the dinosaurs walked the Earth, cephalopods had diversified into thousands of species, each adapted to different ocean environments. They survived multiple mass extinctions that wiped out countless other marine creatures. They outlived the trilobites, the sea scorpions, and the massive marine reptiles like plesiosaurs and mosasaurs. And they did it by becoming masters of adaptation, intelligence, and survival. The modern giant squid's lineage diverged from other squid families somewhere between 60 and 80 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. This was a time of tremendous upheaval in the oceans. The great marine reptiles were going extinct, and a new apex predator was beginning to dominate the seas, the ancestors of modern whales. As whales grew larger and developed echolocation to hunt in the deep sea, they created a new evolutionary pressure on their prey. Giant squids responded by growing larger themselves, developing enhanced sensory organs, and retreating into the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean where even whales struggled to hunt them effectively. But here's what makes the giant squid's survival so remarkable. While most large marine animals from that era went extinct or evolved into smaller forms, the giant squid maintained its colossal size. This phenomenon, known as abyssal gigantism, occurs when creatures living in the deep ocean evolve to enormous proportions. Scientists believe this happens for several reasons. The cold temperature of deep water slows metabolism, allowing animals to grow for longer periods. The lack of predators means there's less evolutionary pressure to stay small and agile. And the scarcity of food means larger body sizes help store energy more efficiently. The giant squid represents the pinnacle of this evolutionary strategy, a living testament to the power of deep-sea adaptation. Now let's descend into the abyss and see this creature as it truly is. Imagine yourself in a submersible dropping through the dark water column. At 600 feet, the last rays of sunlight disappear. At 1,000 feet, your headlights illuminate only a few feet in front of you, revealing the occasional flash of bioluminescence as tiny creatures react to your presence. At 1,500 feet, you have entered the hunting grounds of the giant squid. The pressure here is crushing, equivalent to having a car parked on every square inch of your body. The temperature hovers just above freezing. And in this hostile environment, the giant squid thrives. The first thing you would notice about a giant squid is its size. A fully grown female can reach 43 feet from the tip of her mantle to the end of her feeding tentacles. Though the mantle itself, the muscular body that houses the organs, measures only about 7 feet long. The two feeding tentacles, however, can extend an additional 33 feet, shooting out from the body with incredible speed to snatch prey from a distance. These tentacles are lined with hundreds of suckers, each rimmed with tiny, razor-sharp teeth that lock onto prey with a grip so powerful it leaves circular scars on the skin of sperm whales, the only predators bold enough to hunt them. The arms are shorter, but no less formidable, covered in even more suckers that pull captured prey toward the squid's mouth, located at the center of the arm crown. And that mouth is a nightmare of evolutionary engineering. A beak made of chitin, harder than most metals, shaped like a parrot's beak, but large enough to bite through a human arm. Behind the beak lies the radula, a tongue covered in thousands of microscopic teeth that act like a biological cheese grater, shredding flesh into pieces small enough to fit down the squid's narrow esophagus. But the most striking feature of the giant squid is its eyes. Each eye is approximately 11 inches in diameter, the largest eyes of any animal on Earth, rivaled only by the extinct ichthyosaurs. These enormous eyes are not just for show, they serve a critical function in the pitch-black environment of the deep sea. The giant squid's eyes are exquisitely sensitive to light, capable of detecting the faintest bioluminescent glow from prey, or the silhouette of a hunting sperm whale rippling through clouds of glowing plankton. Some scientists believe the giant squid can detect a sperm whale from over 400 feet away, giving it precious seconds to flee or prepare to defend itself. The squid's body is muscular and streamlined, built for sudden bursts of speed when needed. Two large fins extend from the sides of the mantle, undulating gracefully to provide slow, energy-efficient movement. When speed is required, the squid uses jet propulsion, drawing water into its mantle cavity and expelling it through a muscular funnel, rocketing backward through the water at speeds that can exceed 25 miles per hour. This method of movement is exhausting, however, and the giant squid reserves it for emergencies, escapes, and the final moments of a hunt. One of the most fascinating adaptations of the giant squid is how it maintains neutral buoyancy in the water. Unlike fish, which use gas-filled swim bladders, the giant squid fills its tissues with an ammonium chloride solution that is lighter than seawater. This allows it to hover effortlessly at any depth without expending energy. There's a catch, though. Ammonium chloride tastes terrible, like salty licorice mixed with cleaning fluid, which makes giant squid unappealing to most predators and certainly inedible for humans. It's a chemical defense that has likely saved countless squids from being eaten. The giant squid's hunting strategy is a study in patience and precision. Unlike the fast, aggressive Humboldt squid that hunts in packs, the giant squid is believed to be a solitary hunter, drifting through the water column, waiting for prey to come within range. Its diet consists primarily of deep-sea fish, like orange roughy, lanternfish, and other squid species. When prey approaches, the squid remains motionless, almost invisible in the darkness. Then, in a fraction of a second, its feeding tentacles explode forward, crossing the distance in a blur of motion. The tentacular clubs at the ends of the tentacles strike the prey, the toothed suckers latch on, and the tentacles retract, pulling the struggling victim toward the waiting arms. Once secured in the eight-armed embrace, there is no escape. The prey is maneuvered to the beak, which delivers a killing bite, severing the spinal cord or crushing vital organs. The radula then goes to work, rasping away flesh bit by bit, passing the pieces down the esophagus, which, remarkably, runs directly through the squid's brain. This means the giant squid must be careful not to swallow anything too large, or it could damage its own central nervous system. It's an evolutionary quirk that seems almost like a design flaw, but it has worked for millions of years. Despite its fearsome hunting abilities, the giant squid is not the unchallenged king of the deep. Its primary predator, the sperm whale, is perhaps one of the most formidable hunters in the entire ocean. Sperm whales can dive to depths exceeding 6,000 feet, holding their breath for over an hour as they hunt in complete darkness, using echolocation clicks so powerful they can stun prey. When a sperm whale locates a giant squid, the ensuing battle is the stuff of legend. We know these battles occur because sperm whales regularly surface bearing the scars of combat. Circular sucker marks, sometimes 8 inches in diameter, covering their heads and bodies. These are the defensive wounds of a giant squid fighting for its life, its suckers clamping down with enough force to leave permanent scars on the whale's rubbery skin. But the sperm whale almost always wins. Scientists have examined the stomach contents of hundreds of sperm whales and found the indigestible beaks of giant squids by the dozens, sometimes by the hundreds. The giant squid, for all its size and weaponry, is still prey. And then there are the mysteries that even scientists cannot fully explain. Evidence suggests that giant squids may occasionally be cannibalistic, attacking and eating each other when prey is scarce or when territorial disputes arise. Researchers in Tasmania discovered beak fragments from other giant squids in the stomach of a captured specimen. And off the coast of Spain, a giant squid was found washed ashore with wounds consistent with an attack by another member of its own species. Was this cannibalism driven by hunger, or was it competition for limited resources? We simply don't know. For the longest time, the giant squid existed only as myth and occasional evidence. Dead specimens washed up on beaches, tentacles found in the stomachs of whales, ancient sailors' tales of ship-destroying monsters. The scientific community knew the creature was real, but capturing live footage seemed impossible. The ocean is vast, giant squids are rare, and the depths they inhabit are among the most challenging environments on Earth to explore. Then, in 2004, a breakthrough occurred. A Japanese marine biologist named Tsunemi Kubodera, who had devoted his life to studying deep-sea cephalopods, led an expedition into the North Pacific, using a technique called vertical longlining, suspending baited hooks at various depths. Kubodera and his team managed to snag a giant squid at a depth of nearly 3,000 feet. The squid fought ferociously, tearing off one of its own tentacles in the struggle before escaping. But the cameras attached to the line captured over 500 images, the first photographs ever taken of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. The world finally saw what sailors had feared for centuries, a creature of impossible size, powerful and alien, hunting in the eternal night of the deep ocean. 8 years later, in 2012, Kubadera returned to the same waters, this time with high-definition video cameras. After hundreds of dives and countless hours of waiting in the darkness, the team captured what many consider the holy grail of marine biology. Video footage of a living giant squid swimming gracefully through the water, its arms extended, its massive eyes reflecting the camera lights like twin silver moons. The footage was breathtaking, revealing a creature far more elegant and otherworldly than anyone had imagined. It wasn't the aggressive monster of legend. It was a curious, almost cautious animal, investigating the strange lights and bait that had intruded into its world. Since then, additional footage has been captured, including a remarkable encounter in the Gulf of Mexico in 2019, where researchers from NOAA filmed a giant squid approaching their submersible's camera. The squid seemed almost playful, wrapping its arms around the camera housing, examining it with what appeared to be genuine curiosity before drifting back into the darkness. These rare glimpses have revolutionized our understanding of giant squid behavior, revealing them to be far more active and inquisitive than previously thought. But despite these breakthroughs, the giant squid remains profoundly mysterious. We still don't know how many exist in the world's oceans. Population estimates vary wildly, based largely on the number of beaks found in the stomachs of sperm whales and the frequency with which specimens wash ashore. Some scientists believe there may be millions of giant squids distributed across the world's oceans. Others think the population could be far smaller, perhaps numbering only in the tens of thousands. The truth is, we simply don't have enough data. We also don't know much about their reproductive behavior. Female giant squids are larger than males, and dissections of captured specimens have revealed that females carry hundreds of thousands of eggs, each about the size of a rice grain, housed in specialized glands in the mantle. But no one has ever witnessed giant squids mating, and we have no idea where they go to spawn. Do they gather in specific locations, like salmon returning to their birth rivers? Or do they mate opportunistically, drifting through the vast ocean until they encounter a potential partner? Do the males engage in combat for mating rights, or is the process more subdued? These questions remain unanswered. Scientists estimate that giant squids live no more than 5 years, growing at an extraordinarily rapid rate to reach their immense size before reproducing and dying. This short lifespan means each squid must consume enormous quantities of food, possibly several hundred pounds of fish and other prey per year. And yet, despite this voracious appetite, giant squids remain ghosts, rarely seen, and even more rarely understood. One of the most tantalizing mysteries involves the giant squid's intelligence. Cephalopods are renowned for their cognitive abilities. Octopuses can solve complex puzzles, use tools, and even display what appears to be playful behavior. Squids, particularly larger species, are believed to possess similar intelligence. The giant squid's enormous brain, one of the largest among invertebrates, suggests a creature capable of learning, memory, and perhaps even problem-solving. But we have never had the opportunity to study giant squid cognition in any meaningful way. What goes on in the mind of a creature that spends its entire life in darkness, hunting alone in a world devoid of sound or color? Do they remember encounters with sperm whales? Do they recognize other giant squids they've met before? Can they plan, anticipate, reason? We may never know. The deep sea is often described as the last unexplored frontier on Earth, a realm more alien than the surface of Mars, and the giant squid is its most iconic resident. Every year, new species are discovered in the deep ocean, Creatures that defy imagination. Fish with transparent heads, shrimp that survive in boiling volcanic vents, jellyfish that may be biologically immortal. And yet, the giant squid remains the crown jewel of deep-sea biology. A creature so legendary, so improbable, that its very existence seems like something from science fiction. Some scientists have proposed that the giant squid's enormous eyes evolved specifically to detect sperm whales, allowing the squid to see the bioluminescent glow stirred up by a whale's passage through plankton clouds. If true, this would mean the giant squid's most remarkable feature exists solely as a defense mechanism, a way to survive in a world where being eaten by a whale is a constant threat. Others believe the eyes serve multiple functions, allowing the squid to spot prey, potential mates, and other threats in an environment where vision is the only reliable sense. There are also theories that some giant squids may grow far larger than any specimen ever documented. Statistical analyses of beak sizes found in sperm whale stomachs suggest that squids with mantles exceeding 10 feet in length may exist, which would translate to total lengths approaching 60 or 70 feet. If such creatures exist, they have never been seen by human eyes, lurking in depths so profound and regions so remote that even our most advanced technology cannot reach them. Imagine a giant squid the size of a bus drifting through trenches 6 miles deep in water so cold and dark that life as we know it seems impossible. It's a thought that both thrills and terrifies, a reminder that the ocean still holds secrets we cannot fathom. The significance of the giant squid extends beyond biology and into culture, literature, and human imagination. For centuries, the giant squid has represented the unknown, the monstrous, the terror of the deep. From the ancient Norse Kraken to Jules Verne's attack in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, from Herman Melville's Moby Dick to modern films and documentaries, the giant squid has captured humanity's fascination like few other creatures. It exists at the intersection of science and myth, a real animal that seems too fantastical to be true. And perhaps that's the most profound lesson the giant squid teaches us, that the natural world is far stranger, far more wondrous than we can imagine. In an age where we have mapped the surface of distant planets and peered into the depths of the cosmos, we have still barely scratched the surface of our own oceans. The giant squid reminds us that Earth is still a planet of mysteries, that there are frontiers left to explore, creatures left to discover, and wonders left to experience. So the next time you stand at the edge of the ocean, looking out at the waves rolling endlessly toward the horizon, remember what lies beneath. Thousands of feet down, in the crushing darkness, in the cold silence, the giant squid glides through the abyss, a living relic from an ancient past, a creature that has survived mass extinctions, ice ages, and the rise and fall of countless species. It is a ghost, a legend, a nightmare made flesh. And it is real. The giant squid is proof that the ocean keeps its secrets well, that no matter how much we learn, there will always be more to discover. It is a reminder that we share this planet with creatures so alien, so incomprehensible, that encountering them feels like meeting an intelligence from another world. And as long as the giant squid exists, swimming unseen through the midnight waters, the deep sea remains a place of magic, mystery, and endless wonder. In the end, we are left with more questions than answers. How many giant squids are out there? What do they think, feel, experience in their brief lives? Will we ever truly understand them? Or will they remain forever beyond our grasp, creatures of myth and legend, even as we photograph and film them? Perhaps that's as it should be. Some mysteries are meant to endure, some secrets meant to stay hidden in the depths. The giant squid, the ghost of the abyss, will continue to haunt our oceans and our imaginations, a symbol of everything we don't know, everything we can't control, and everything that makes the natural world so impossibly, breathtakingly beautiful. And somewhere, right now, in the darkness 2,000 feet below the surface, a giant squid is hunting. Its eyes, vast and unblinking, scan the void. Its tentacles drift in the current, ready to strike. And it knows nothing of us, nothing of our submarines and cameras and desperate attempts to understand it. It simply exists, as it has for millions of years, a perfect predator in an imperfect world, a legend, a mystery, a ghost that refuses to be caught. The abyss keeps its secrets well, and the giant squid is the greatest secret of all.